The Cinepeer CM15 is a little RGB light that can really pack a punch. It has all the features of a light like, well, their B-series lights with fans and intuitive controls, but obviously this is a tiny little RGB light with the focus on making it as small and compact as possible, which I guess is kind of similar as well, although there's a difference between 15 and 200 watts, so a little bit different. I really do like the design and the build quality. It's definitely extremely small and extremely lightweight, being made mostly out of plastic, even if it looks like metal in some of the photos. The dials feel pretty good. One is smooth and one is more clicky, which I'll explain why I love that so much a little bit later. And of course it has 1/4 inch mounting points, USB-C. Can't stand the old USB style anymore these days, so USB-C is kind of a must. Oh, and before getting into the rest of it, it comes with a nice little diffusion thing that clips really nicely right on the front, and a few little mounting options like a shoe for going right on your camera, and a little clip for maybe like Zoom meetings on your computer, so you can use it for a lot of different things. Cool. I feel like menu navigation is super smooth and super fast. When the screen lights up, you turn the power button to the left or the right, which kind of prevents, I think, it turning on in your bag and running on your battery or something like that. So yeah, basically that left dial is your power and navigation dial. You kind of scroll between different items on a menu page and then click it in to switch between like CCT, HSI, a true RGB mode, which is not always there, and a list of like 18 effects. It's not the most effects ever, but it's more than I've seen on some other cameras for sure. The other dial though is for adjusting all of those different parameters you select with the left dial. So again, this is why I appreciate that one being clicky, because it's going from one menu item to another, whereas the smooth one is dialing up a percentage from 1 to 100. So you don't really want that to click for like 100 different times as you're going up. A nice smooth adjustment is a lot better. You can also click this one in as well to jump to different presets. So from like 0 to 50 to 100% intensity, or shifting like 120 degrees over the whole color spectrum in HSI mode. So it's really quick to navigate menus, scrolling through the menus, clicking in to go to different pages, scrolling up and down to finally adjust your intensity and things like that, and clicking it in to adjust it quickly. It's just a really nice experience. I would say the only thing that's not 100% seamless is gonna be that clicking in through the menus. It really just scrolls down a list. You can't really go back. So if you are trying to get to HSI, for example, and you clicked past it, you'd have to go through the entire menu setting, you know, RGB, effects, settings, back to CCT, and then back to HSI. So that's a little clunky when you're flipping through on set or like in any situation really, but it's not the end of the world. Just to touch on the effects, while they're pretty basic, all the standard stuff here, 18 different ones, I think the biggest deal for me that I really appreciate is all of these effects are editable when it comes to the intensity or the speed of some of them, things like that. That's not always the case, and you know, having an effect being too dim or too bright or too fast or too slow can really mess you up in situations like narratives where you're really trying to dial in that control, or music videos where you might want the effects to sync up as close as we can with the actual music. That's all kind of a little bit easier with this light than others where that's not really an option. But yeah, this is a small light, it's 15 watts, has a small-ish battery, but the output for products, B-roll, other little specific situations, it's gonna be a lot more helpful than you think in a lot more situations. And for a price of just about 70 bucks, just under 70 bucks, I think that seems just about right for something like this, where I've seen similar lights being like 80, 90, 100 plus. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic light, good light quality. That softbox really helps kind of soften things up, especially if you get the light nice and close. And overall, it's just a great little RGB light. I would say the only last thing I can think of that is a little bit interesting is this is one of the few lights that is not magnetic. I feel like every kind of tiny light throws in some kind of magnetism into that design, so you can just stick it in random places. And this is one of the few lights that I've had in this kind of similar size that doesn't have magnets. So I don't know, maybe that's why it's a little bit cheaper they saved on the magnet budget. I mean, I rarely use the magnetism side of things anyway. I mean, maybe if you do, I guess this isn't the light for you, but if you have clamps and light stands and things like that, then like most people, I think you'll be all right. But I don't know, let me know. Is the lack of magnets a deal breaker for you? I would be very interested to hear. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by and watching this little review on this little tiny light, and subscribe.